Talking about elections, 2023 has thrown up yet again intrigues and power play in the Nigeria's democratic experience. During election season, political parties are parties that are unpopular usually appear on the scene to challenge the major parties for various elective positions. We have in the studio Imrana Gino. He is a governorship aspirant under the People's Redemption Party, candidate rather, under the People's Redemption Party in Katsina State. He joins us here in the studio to talk about his party and what he is bringing to the table. Thank you for joining us on Daybreak this morning.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Well, People's Redemption Party is one of those parties that, you know, some Nigerians will call small party. And it's not a new party, even though it's always been there. So I'm wondering what the PRP has been doing all along.
Good morning, Nigerians, and good morning, my people from Katsina State. Thank you that you corrected the assertion that unpopular. PRP is a popular party, is a national party, has been there, just the way you said, since 1978, and it has formed governments in the old Kaduna and old Kano. We've seen how much performance it has done, but going forward, and due to the ideologies and principles of PRP, it reclined back. Why? Because a lot of people changed their direction, and this is why we are where we are today. If you look at abysmal performance right from 1999 to date, politics of immorality, lack of principles, ideologies, and direction has really affected PRP, that it went to the corner and was watching.
I was just wondering, why did PRP recline to watch when indeed the party, as we know, was formed to challenge things like that?
The challenging things in Nigeria is not easy. Particularly in politics. I saw a presidential candidate said lunatics have taken over Nigerian politics. And, anybody with sense of responsibility and conscience will sit down and study the situation before, acting. We have done all that is necessary now, and we have now new bloods injected into the party, and we are doing the best we can to turn around things and, improve the fortunes of the party in 2023 election. And you've seen what happened, the emergence of the presidential candidate of PRP, who is a southerner from the southwest, who got the ticket, and he's now running for the president of Nigeria under the platform of PRP. We've seen a lot of young governors, particularly in the northwest and north central and northeast. We have people contesting on that platform, and not only people but young people, young men, with bright future and with competence and capacity to turn around the fortunes of their states, which now gets the calling of young people to do what they can. Now you are agitating, and you have the opportunity now. You have the ball in your court. Now you decide the future of the young people to see, can we really field people? Can we really do what we are supposed to do, given the size or the population of young people around these states that I just mentioned, particularly in my own state, Katsina. We have in Kano, Kaduna, and in Plateau and Adamawa. So we hope to see some form of action from the young people.
Okay, so what's new now is the young people that you are talking about, now involving in the political terrain and all of that. So, but again, that's not enough to win elections, isn't it? Do you have the capacity to actually challenge the status quo? people, know about the ruling party, APC, the PDP, which is the leading opposition party and all of that. So one of the things that Nigerians will raise is, yes, you have young people, right? But do you have the structures to challenge the status quo?
But I always sit down and wonder when, I'm asked this type of question, or the capacity. And this capacity that we are talking about always boils down to money, not any structure. If you say structure, it's not about anything but money. What we need first is the mental capability, the moral, psychological, and intellectual capacity. These are the things that we look at. The other things, the structures that they always talk about, you said the ruling party. The party in government now just got to the 8th year. They were as disorganized as what the smaller parties are today. They were like that. But today, because of the large pockets, the public pockets that they have the opportunity to control, that is why you look at them. But they're as disorganized today as any poor party that you can never even think that we don't even know exist. In terms of capacity and structure that you are talking about, we have it. Young men have been doing wonders. We've been organizing ourselves. I want to remind you of the We Together movement. This is what we stand on now. The We Together movement has made so much arrangement and so much movement around Nigeria, organizing young men. We have the structure, the We Together. The funding that you are now shielding inside the structure is about coming together. What we are trying to do is we want to mobilize as many as possible. Let's say a 2.5 million, a 20 million young people. Like in my state, I'm trying to see if I can mobilize 2.5 million young people.
But all of that boils back to money, isn't it?
That's what I'm trying to explain for you now in this arrangement. So if you have 20 million young men in Nigeria with capacity and financial wherewithal that can contribute monthly 1,000 naira till the election day, how much do you think we can have? If we can have 1 million young men contribute 1,000 naira, you will have 1 billion naira every month. We have the money. And this structure of We Together cuts across the national to the polling unit level. So this is the structure now we are talking that if the real structure we are talking about.
But do we have such Nigerians that you talk about, people who will actually contribute their money? Because
we have done it.
There's one issue of trust here. And then the second one is the issue of the mindset that some Nigerians have about going to political parties not to make contributions, but to take. So how do you deal with that?
This is why, initially I told you, young people with fresh thinkings and cutting-edge ideas came together under the umbrella of We Together to prosecute a campaign that was never prosecuted in Nigeria. And the issue of integrity, or the issue of someone coming, maybe going somewhere to get money, it's a bygone issue. Which monies can you get in the political parties? If you are not in the government, there is no money in any political party. Even the ones now, you call the so-called opposition, they don't have the money. Most of them are broke. The money they've stolen, they've sold most of their properties. It's only the big wigs, that we see doling dollars during the primaries. But if you talk of young men coming to organize, we have done it 2015 for the president, the sitting president. We did the Barry Support Organization for him, and we took the pains of contributing 100, 100, 200, 1,000, up to what? We were able to mobilize up to 500 million naira during the Barry Support Organization with the sale of those recharge cards that we solely, took charge of producing and getting to the point of success. So we have done it, and we still can do it even more better now that, we are more exposed to technological advancements and the globalization of everything, that now not only people in Nigeria can contribute to such causes, but then people even outside Nigeria can be able to donate to be part of the movement and see how they can help, one, in mobilization, second, even raising the funds across the world.
Okay. let's go back to your state, Katsina. First of all, congratulations on your emergence as the governorship candidate of the PRP.
Thank you.
Now, Katsina is APC governed at the moment. PDP is equally fairly strong in APC, in Katsina State. And lately, we've been seeing gale of defections. And the defections is between the APC to the PDP to the APC. I don't hear of people defecting to the PRP. Does that say something?
Okay, what it is that you know, PRP is a cultured political party with ideologies and principles, and only people that are principled and ideological comes to PRP, you know. But people with burden, with morality questions usually don't come near that. But people,
is it that they come and PRP turns them away, or they don't come at all?
They naturally don't come. And if we are calling on anybody to join the party, we go to people that are principled. We go to people, you know, we have a lot of sympathizers in the state and across the country. You know, people who are not in any political party, who are many, but, you know, they are looking at the situation, and, you know, the prospect of them joining or supporting or voting candidates of the PRP is higher than going to any party. The ratio is higher. So in Katsina, what we have, Katsina is the home of PRP. Katsina, you know, PRP has a very large stake in Katsina, across, particularly in the southern Katsina and in the central part of Katsina. Okay. So the chances are that people have suffered so much. They have seen how much betrayal from the sitting government. They have seen the disappointment where, you know, the opposition, leading opposition party birthed the problems of Katsina today, okay, and how much they were taken to an advanced stage by the ruling party now.
Now, definitely, let's not forget that Katsina State is the state of the president,
yes,
a leader of the APC.
Yeah.
So definitely on sitting, or I mean taking over from, you know, such a political party as the APC, which is the ruling party in the state, is not going to come easy at all. So how do you intend to go about this? Because don't you think that issues of, say, for instance, power of incumbency could fight against you?
Okay, the power of incumbency, I cannot undermine the capacity or the level of how high a president is and his influence in his state. But let's look at the influence. You know, if we just look at skeletally that he's the president, but we are receiving the brunt of insecurity, will people look at him because he's a sitting president and suffering, being maimed, killed, raped, taken away? Schools were closed, shut down for a very long time. Look at the decadence in our education system. Now, as I'm talking to you, 80% of Katsina people are starving. You know, there is hunger and starvation. People cannot go to the farms. People cannot move around for their daily businesses. So would you want to tell me you will go and vote in the line of a sitting president who left you into this, you know, abysmal conditions, subhuman levels? You know, people are living under 1 naira or a 0 naira, and you want to tell me a president has impact in the next election? My people are very educated. In the history of Katsina, Katsina has been an educated, you know, educationally advanced state, and they are very conscious. Not only conscious, but politically sound and conscious.
Okay.
So they will make the right decisions this time around, and they look at the future. The hopes are dashed, and they are looking for hope. A party that will give them hope, and an individual that has the capacity to take them to the promised land, where they want to be, where they will have peace, food, and healthcare and education.
Now you talk about hunger. Money politics is a major threat. I mean, we just had Ekiti governorship election, and we saw how, you know, money played a very huge role in the final, you know, results of the election. Do you think that people in your state are willing, with the hunger that you talk about that is in the state right now, are willing to give up, you know, whatever pecuniary gains that they are going to get, you know, in the interest of whatever, you know,
you see, they say Ekiti state is the educationally advanced state, but not people are giving misinterpretation of what is happening, what happened there, or what is happening in Ekiti. You have the highly educated people, but most of the people are poverty-stricken too, and are not as educated as people think. In Katsina, we may have the mass literacy, but then massively politically conscious. So in this time around, money will not play that role that you think it will play, not as what happened there. Mind you, the situation and the condition of Ekiti is not what is obtainable today in Katsina, because in Katsina, people are being killed daily. Rarely you hear someone killed maybe in 1 month or 2 months, by bandit or by unknown gunmen, or people who, will get their locality or community burnt down, or their farmlands, turned around. So this is what is obtainable in Katsina, and people of Katsina State are yearning for an opportunity to survive tomorrow.
What's your idea on how to?
I read a statement by you that said that when you become governor, you're not going to wait on federal allocation. You're going to depend on exportation of tomato, sesame seeds to run the state. Now, this is a state that you yourself just confirmed that people cannot go to farm. So how are you going to manage that?
That is why we say, the first priority of our government is security, and security and security. We are going to, we are going to, come up with, we'll just set a state of emergency on security so that we have direct interventions. We will, squarely attack the problems. And attacking the problem, you need to, address issues of education, economy, and just social justice dispensation. These are things that took us to insecurity. Education has been taken aback by the previous governments, particularly the worst condition of this government. You go and you can have issues, government planning without statistics and data. You see, they don't even know, the enrollment, annual enrollment, the requirements or the basic needs of, the educational infrastructure. You have, population explosion now, that you see averagely a woman give birth to 8 children in Katsina. With the polygamy, you can see someone with 4 children and now having how many? 30 something. So if you go to the class, you see maybe 3 houses will populate a class, because averagely a class in Katsina has 120 to 130 pupils in the class. So look at what we are having. The level of dilapidation in the educational infrastructure, asymmetrically has effect to, what we have, the out-of-school children. And the out-of-school children are the, vulnerable to being recruited by the hoodlums to commit crimes.
Okay.
So this is what we will attack. When we do this, we will ensure that, okay, in no time, the remote causes of insecurity will be tackled through economic empowerment, upskilling, and industrialization, massive industrialization in the state. And this multiplier effect will give us, will increase in the IGR, which is now 98% dependent on
do all of that.
PE.
Yeah, to do all of that, to ensure massive enrollment in schools and the rest of them, to manage the security better, you have to be in control. And to a large extent, we've seen what we now call ungoverned spaces in most of the states, not just in Katsina, but in some other states. How would you deal with the issues of ungoverned spaces to be able to be in control of the security in the states?
So you see the problem, is forgetting the fabric of the society. The fabric of the society is the traditional institutions and religious institutions, as well as the community-based associations, which all have been neglected now and taken to the barest minimal impact point or relevance. They feel now the politicians look at the traditional institutions as their opposition is also a political party in the state. They don't have any relevance. They are taken, for granted for anything. But we know their relevance in the society, in trying to cover the ungoverned spaces. Their reign, takes over a lot of areas, and even without policing, without whatever, people, pay allegiance to them and see them as the rightful leaders.
But they have to be empowered to do that.
That is what we will do, the empowerment.
So how do you want to do that?
We will get their structures out. We will know every location, mapping them to their locations, getting their coordinates, getting a database of them, and now giving them that power that they will be able to administer their communities in terms of knowing the movements of the people, birth and death rates. They will be able to be keen into a database, a robust database of the state, so that we will be able to know who lives where and who goes where. They will be capturing. Now, if I leave point A to point C to point B, you will definitely have a village head or a ward head or a district head who will capture my arrival. Now I'm leaving point A to this point. So you will be able to now cover the spaces of this, massive movement that somebody could.
It's one thing for them to have all of this information. It's another for, action to be taken on whatever information they have. I know you are likely going to talk about, collaborating with security agencies and all of that with the information that they have. Yes, the data will help, will go a long way, I agree. But, in terms of, taking action based on intelligence or based on information at their disposal, how do you intend to go about that?
So you see, this is all issue. This is where we are having problem entirely. For instance, now that you hear, particularly in my state, the state governor comes out to make statement that people should come out and protect themselves, that he cannot do it. Is a situation that you are able to convince maybe the 7 million or almost 7 million people in Katsina to vote for you. But then you cannot collaborate with 10 people or 20 people who are the head of chief securities or head of security agencies in your state, that you cannot bring them to under one roof and collaborate with them. These are people, some of them have labored for 30 years. And you imagine just overnight to be governor, and you cannot sit down with them and talk with them. These, are people that, have labored, in some cases, given their lives or risked their lives to get to the point where they are, but you cannot collaborate with them. You feel they say you are the chief security officer and they should all come on their knees. This is how we will collaboratively work with them. Not only working with them, but empowering them, through, we are going to establish Katsina State Security Trust Fund. And this Security Trust Fund will collaborate with them in giving them the required equipment. Not only the equipment, but giving them, superior technological aid that could tell them that an attack is imminent, that you can imminently prevent attack. And this is what is done globally. The modern way is prevention, crime prevention, not crime fighting. You prevent crime before it happens. And this is what we will do through the management of this key intelligence, the database that we will be managing. The governor sees it on a dashboard. I can see it on my handle, and we can take proactive measures.
I'm sure you've heard about how insufficient the number of our security agencies are in the country. So it may not cover, the length and breadth of the state.
You see,
how do you deal with that?
You see, this is a modern way. You don't even need men to risk them, to send them. I just saw, in this attack in Sokoto, how 6 policemen were killed. And these are poor people. These are the masses being killed because the rich men, the big politicians, their children are not, at the cadre that they will go on, patrol and what have you. If they're in the police, they must be in the headquarters and, wearing the nice uniform and what have you. But what is done today, technology alone doesn't, is enough that you don't have to risk your men. We have seen, a lot of, strides made without even involvement of a single human being. We are going to leverage on technology, particularly the satellite, to even, foresee imminent attacks. We will be using superior. Security is something very dicey that I don't want to start opening what we have to do, but we have the knowledge and the capacity to do it. Not only the knowledge, but exposure. All I have been doing from 2011 is is talking on security and advancing solutions on, how these security issues could be tackled. I have the plan. It's going to be in the blueprint, most of it that, that is not, the classified information of what we will take to tackle this issue. But I want to assure you that within the first 6 months of our government after 2023 election, I'm going to be elected, inshallah, to be the governor of Katsina State. I have the capacity, and my constituency, the young people, and the masses of in the remote areas, the suburbs are my constituency. I'm from a suburb, a village that I know their problems, I know what they need, and they know me, that I represent them. They are going to vote me into the government house. The first 6 months, I will invite Trust TV to Katsina to come and witness themselves, see and hear from the people. How are you feeling? Are you feeling secured? Are there attacks?
Okay.
You will not be hearing anything about attacks from Katsina, because in the first 6 months, the stride we are going to make is going to tackle that immediately.
Alhaji Imran, I need to know something. It's one thing for politicians at this point to come out and say, okay, we want to govern a state. What is the mood of the average Katsina person at this point? These are people that, according to you, have been beaten. These are people that cannot go to their farms. These are people that cannot go to school. Their children cannot go to school. Are they even interested in the coming elections? Are they coming out to register? Or are they already disillusioned by everything that has happened?
The mood in Katsina is not nice anyway. People are disappointed. How they labored, how they suffered, how they believed in a party, and their hopes dashed. They're so disappointed and angry at the system for forsaking them, leaving them to their fates, and even telling them to come and bite a bandit to protect themselves, that they should use catapult. This is by their governor. And he said that you should arm yourself. How can you sit down and people are attacking you while he's in the government house being cycled and protected by, armed men and what have you?
So
and he doesn't even move. He doesn't even move around in the state. Nobody sees him. He has been retired to the government house on government house chair. How can you govern a state? That is why we have the ungoverned spaces. So this is what the people are tired of, and that is why they are going to vote for me into the government house 2023.
Why would they think you're going to be different? Why would they have confidence?
The confidence is, talking of capacity and the antecedent of someone has come from the service family. We serve people for a very long time, that we've not failed. My ancestors have not failed, and they know that, okay, this is somebody trustworthy. The problem we've had recently or in Nigeria is that we have left out the good people out of polity, and the bad people, just the way a presidential candidate said, to lunatics, that the lunatics are taking the space. And they don't even have any conscience at the end of the governance to even come out and look at the people. And still, part of what we have, the leading...
Thank you, Mr. Imran. We cannot go on because of our time. We appreciate you joining us on Daybreak and sharing just a bit about what... I know time will not permit us to go on and on, but thank you so much.
I hope you have me next time so that we build where we are.
Yeah, we will.
From where we stop.
We will. Imrana Jino is a governorship candidate under the platform of the People's Redemption Party in Katsina State. Thank you again for coming.
Thank you very much.